My name is Tobe Carberry. I'm the assistant men's basketball coach at Yale University. I'm a kid from New Haven.
My name is Tobin Carberry. I'm a kid from Hampton.
Well, for me, it was my dad. My dad is from Baltimore, Maryland. He's a park guy. He and his brother were park guys. They, went to all kinds of parks in the city of Baltimore, Maryland. Woodlawn, Drew Hill, Catonsville. And I can remember him dragging me to court 7 o'clock in the morning to play with him and his friends. And from then on, I just fell in love with the game.
Yeah, definitely. I piggyback on that. My dad, we call him Tony C, older guy. He's good. He wasn't really good in high school or whatever, but he really wanted, to show us the game of basketball. And then after he started getting good, I watched him, playing overseas and in the D League. And, with them too, I just wanted to be great just like him.
Biggest influences, are definitely my parents. Just understanding, the importance of becoming a student athlete. When we were young, that was just so important for us. We couldn't play, we couldn't touch a ball unless we got our work done. In present day, my influences are my family now, my wife and my son. You know what I mean? Like just knowing that what we have planned, for our future and what can take us there. That that's what influences me.
Definitely our parents. My mom, she has a doctorate from Columbia. At a young age, I didn't understand it. I struggled with it. But now I'm pursuing my master's when I come home from playing professionally. So, I'm just trying to be just like my parents on that level.
I think for me, it's a sense of pride in being from somewhere, an area where things aren't handed to you. It's not easy. Being involved in sports, it's just a pride thing. And just being a small town where everybody knows everybody, I feel a lot of respect and love that comes our way, especially as of late, with people understanding, the grind that, we've been through, and me, per se, just trying to become a college coach and pay my dues and just having people from this area respect that and see where I came from. It's nice.
I know that a lot of people talk about how, people get on this person from this area, but I feel like as of late it's been great. I've had a lot of support and stuff. And, I bring around kids like Raekwon Clark and Walter White. And I try to, do the same thing for them and help them out. And I think the support in this area, Hampton, New Haven, has been great. Like, I had it in high school. I had a big senior year at the end of senior year, but I was just so frail. A lot of coaches didn't want me, because I was frail. And I went all-state and all-area MVP, and they told me to go to prep school. And I didn't, but I went to Southern. Southern, I could barely dunk. I remember I had a first dunk and they got on me because it was like a little tip dunk. And then it hit me about almost senior in college and after college is where I started taking off athletically. So I'm really blessed now. I'm catching up. Even though I'm a little bit older, I was behind for so long and now I'm just surpassing guys because I've been working on my game, working harder than most people. So right now I'm starting to hit a good stride in my game. You guys don't know how much film could help and how much more film could help even than workouts, knowing that a guy puts his right foot up and you could attack it. You guys don't understand that's just as big as, anything in the game. I was fortunate to get my first job by Vidar on Hafeston, and he was just so great, giving me the first opportunity I had to play professionally, and seeing how hard he worked and seeing how bad he wanted to, rise up a league and then, trying to be successful in the top league. And, we did that. Definitely all the people. I have so much family in Iceland. A lot of basketball players go out there and, they don't, care about it or anything. But probably the best jumping league, call it mid-major, almost like to jump to the highest level, and guys are just taking off. Now it's 4 Americans, so it's really good basketball right now. Dudes from high leagues in NCAA, high leagues overseas are going there to boost their career, so I'm pretty excited about the opportunity.
I played in Ireland, I played in Austria, and I played in Hungary. Play a game, get paid, and venture off to see different cities on your off time. It was just a great experience. One thing that you could see is that regardless of the language barrier, that life was sort of the same. In different. It's people working hard to try to get to where they want to go, and it was just a good experience for me. And I always would come home and try to tell Tobin about how fun it is, and how much you can, if you work and get detailed on it, like you know more about it than the average person. Now you could just take it to the next level. You know what I mean? And that was one thing I always wanted to express to him, was that I got frustrated young in my career about the NBA, stressed over the NBA. But when the way that I wanted to approach it with him was, as I learned more, I learned that global basketball is just as good too, if not better, to become more cultured, become more well-rounded. And that's one thing I wanted to instill in him, to try to give my advice to him, and to just see him take off and run with it. It's just, it's great, you know what I mean? To see him, remembering him jumping off the couch trying to dunk a hoop on the little hoop, seeing him in videos in Europe, the funny thing about that is that, in my career path, I've been fortunate enough to have some good mentors. Beginning with my first job with a guy named Mark Ribsick, who actually showed me what the business was about. Moving on to Ted Hotalon at University of New Haven. Howie Digman, a legend at Central Connecticut State University, who taught me so much about how to conduct yourself as a coach off the floor, which people don't even understand. And even here with James Jones at Yale. I mean, to have someone like him, an African-American coach at the most prestigious university in the world, as your mentor, I try to study him as much as I can. I hope he doesn't feel weird by it. I hope he can't tell how intense I'm studying him, but it is important for me to have him as a mentor, and those are some of the people other than my parents that have helped me as influences. Basketball in general, I knew from the way that my dedication for playing the game and being around the game, I knew that there was no other career path for me. I tried teaching, and this is the best way to combine both of it. So I can teach, and I can be around the game, through the game, and it just feels good. It's a natural progression for me, natural transition, and it just feels good to me. It doesn't feel like work. So I started off at Southern Connecticut, and then I moved over to New Haven, University of New Haven. Then I went up to Central Connecticut State University, and then I was down in LIU Brooklyn. And then I came here to Yale. Well, for me, in coaching, it's just to keep on building my resume. I really want to be a head coach, college head coach someday, and eventually, long term, I want to experience the NBA at some point in coaching, be it player development, be it scouting, be it an NBA assistant head coach. Maybe one day, we never know how this game can work. So my next step in front of me is to pay my dues here and, just not lose sight of where I am now with my long-term goals. I think the most important thing for me is this season and doing all that I can to help Yale men's basketball have a productive season. So short term, that's what it is. Yale has become, well, it already is obviously one of the most prestigious academic institutions in the world. But now we are attracting a certain profile of player that is above and beyond what normal expectations of the Ivy League are. And I mean, you'd be surprised at how many high major kids we can get involved with recruiting. And right now, there's so much talent on the roster, probably more than there's ever been in this situation, and more than I've ever seen on other Division I rosters that I've been a part of. And I'm just excited about that. I'm excited about the timing of my employment here, and I'm just looking forward to hit the ground running and doing my best to play a part in getting us better. Yale always seemed as this like distant thing all the way down the street. You know what I mean? I had a little bit of access to Yale because my mother is in education. She had some seminars and things on campus and stuff like that, and I would tag along and go to meetings and things like that. But Yale just seemed as I know I didn't, when I was coming up, I didn't hear from Yale in the recruitment process. And I was almost there academically. Wish I would have, but Yale always seemed as distant and a special place for special people at the time. Well, being on the staff now, I look at Yale as I don't think youth have to feel that way anymore, as though Yale is just a distant place down Broadway or down Dixwell Avenue or down Chapel. I think that youth need to feel as though Yale is an attainable goal, an attainable aspiration to get all A's and B's. You know what I mean? To be the best music student they can be, to be the best theater student they can be, or whatever their craft is. If it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever, track. We have 36 sports here. And all it takes is dedication in one of those, or an activity, and all A's and B's, and you may be considered, a prospect to be a student here. So one thing I would like to do is bridge the gap through whatever platform I have here involved with men's basketball to get the community more involved and more aware of the good things that are going on here, and also to let youth know that they can be here.